Car Championship. He cannot afford to miss these long distance races if he's to win the James Hardy 1000, because this is the proving ground. This is where you learn all about what's going to go wrong with your car. As the mechanics go underneath the engine of Brock's car, Bruce Nowacki, the chief mechanic, has a look underneath.
Well, Will Hagen's down there. We should know soon enough what went wrong there. He's only 19.5 seconds behind now. Still catching up, and that will have...
Team who are brilliant at their work, and they're renowned Australia-wide for their...
3 laps around here is about 2 3/4 minutes, so that's how much time Harvey has to spend in the pits before he loses his second position.
He'll need less than a minute.
Left-hand rear, he says, or fuel.
Or both. And now we'll go down to Drew Morfitt.
Well, Peter Brock, congratulations on winning that second heat of round 2, and this time everything went right for you and the Commodore.
Yes, it did, Drew. I put some more enduring bits and pieces on the car that were more suitable to Bathurst. In fact, they were ex-Bathurst tyres, as a matter of fact, the exact tyres. And it enabled me to stay in contact in the early laps with Dick and to try and sort of duck and weave around his slipstream and try and pressure him a little bit. But I must thank him for having his miscue as he did and handing me the race. It's fairly handy. It was one thing to catch Dick, another thing to pass him, of course. But yes, that was great stuff.
It looked different from the first heat earlier today, where you did let him get away from you a bit, but this time you were right there to pressure him.
What happened, Drew, it's getting a fairly technical sport nowadays, motor racing, and what happened is Thursday, Friday and Saturday were very, very cold days, and we found that one particular tyre worked very, very well those days, and we put it on this morning hoping, and it was just useless after about 5 laps. The temperature just caused that tread compound to break down. So we put a tried and proven tyre on that's been around for 2 or 3 years, and we've driven it across the Simpson Desert practically. And it's, well, you can drive it flat out all day, and well, that allowed me to really throw the car around the early laps and give Dick heaps. And hopefully we can sort of gain a few more points between now and the end of the championship.
So does that suggest to you that the margin that was shown at Symmons Plains isn't going to be the story for the year?
Well, I think it will be on the circuits that suit the horsepower. There's no doubt about that. Down the straights here, I can't stick with him, but through the bends and under brakes, the car's working extremely well. So I'd suggest that Sandown won't be our way. Not by a long shot, unfortunately. But we can like it to Oran Park. It might work out pretty well at Oran Park. That's a twisty circuit. And so on through the series. I think that certain races Dick's going to run away and hide, and I think other races maybe I'll keep the pressure on him. But there's no races, there's not going to be any races where I'm going to have the decided advantage, that's for sure.
It sounds unusual to me to hear you say that Sandown might be a bit difficult. It's been your circuit for so many years, hasn't it?
Yes, well, once we get past 50 laps, I'm always looking pretty good, but up to that 50 laps, I have big trouble with these fellas, and I would say that Kevin Bartlett and probably Bob Morris and certainly Dick Johnson will be climbing all over us in a 20 or 30 lap race, that's for sure.
Incidentally, about half distance you gave a pit sign coming past here. Was that just a thumbs up? We've got him?
Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, I said, don't worry, lad, she's going well, and don't expect any, quick lap times. I'm just driving to keep my concentration and to win.
Well, congratulations. It's certainly really put the spice back into the series for this year.
Yeah, one each.
Up there punching, and that dismal scene in the Ford fans really reaching it home to the Holden Commodore fans as Peter Brock, the reigning Australian touring car champion.
I haven't seen you have a worse day.
No, it's excellent business for the Ford sport. Well, we had a very strange thing happen to the diff housing there at the first race, which it just was fretting on the tubes which would locate the wheels, and it allowed the nose of the diff, where the front universal joint bolts on, to lift itself up and run with the tail shaft against the floor, which was a bit strange to say the least, because it was the car was actually being supported by the bouncing tail shaft, so I just had no option to call in the pits. Now, just then, I don't know, but there's absolutely no drive anywhere, and I would suggest that it is something to do with the gearbox or the clutch, and I would say that it's caused by the earlier problem, quite frankly.
Really? So you went into the second heat believing that you were ready to go?
Oh, brand new diff housing, new tail shaft, everything. Absolutely everything, yeah.
Unusual experience for you?
It is, well, I guess it's a bit of experience for us too, Drew, Terry, because we found something that happened today which we've never seen happen in all the years we've been racing any of the Holdens. And whether it's a freak or it's a problem, I don't know, but one thing's for sure, it's nice to find these things out at this time of the year and perhaps still be able to get some points back for the Australian Touring Car Championship.
Quite steamy. Top temperature in Melbourne today, forecast 25. Getting ready for the Alan Stewart ready for the start, and get away with it.
When you're driving your Commodore, your life depends on the work of the men who prepare the car. How much faith do you have in the people who put it together?
Yes, it does to a large degree, because a driver drives a car considering that that car is going to be totally predictable, so you don't want to know about a back wheel falling off or the brake pedal going to the floor. And I find that the greatest thing with any racing team is when you've got a group of guys who can think the same way you do. It's one of the reasons why, for instance, Bruce Nowacki's been with the team now since 1972, and he and I are great friends, and I know that if he says the car's right, it's right, and I can then concentrate on the job of driving it. When you have a guest drive somewhere in an unusual car, you tend to be a little bit conservative because you're not too sure what the weak points are in the car or how well it's been put together. So, yes, it's extremely important knowing the car's well put together.
Dick Johnson says that out in the track there's no love lost. How do you feel about him?
Well, I think that's probably quite a fair statement. We're quite friendly off the track. We're not bosom buddies at all, but, you know, we're both pretty much the same sort of nature of people, I suppose. And you get out on the track, and once that flag drops, he is just a person in a car that's doing his very best to beat me, and I'm much the same. But Dick's a very clean driver. He's very hard. There's certainly no love lost as far as driving tactics are concerned, but then again, it's all above board, and that makes very enjoyable racing, I think.
Well, we've just seen the 3AK City of Melbourne Touring Car Trophy race. 3AK, beautiful music, and I think that was pretty beautiful from Peter Brock too. Congratulations, Peter. Although I noticed at one stage it might have escaped some people down the bottom here, you almost came unglued.
Very embarrassing. It's reminiscent of Dick Johnson's problem he had at Sandown. For some reason, the rear shockers and rear brakes just worked a lot harder today than what they do normally. I suggest it's the hot weather, and that was very embarrassing for a moment.
For about the first 15 or 16 laps, Dick was right on your tail. Were you surprised at that, because he's had a monumental rebuild on that car?
Yes, he's done very well considering he's just finished off on, I think it was late Thursday night, and transported down from Queensland, and full marks to Dick for putting on the track in such a competitive condition. Yes, I am quite used to Dick Johnson giving me a hard time, and it's a bit of a change though to look in the mirror and see him sitting behind me.
Well, congratulations once again, Peter, and on behalf of 3AK, numerous trophies, please accept them.
Thank you very, very much. And congratulations to Bob Jane on an excellent day's racing, and in fact I'll be back over there watching the Sports Sedans followed by the Australian Grand Prix. A great day's racing. Thank you.
You've won this race every year since 1975, Hang 10-400. And every time I've won it, each year onwards, I've thought to myself, Lady Luck is not going to smile at me next year. And it continues to do so. I honestly feel as if this year, not only will it be Lady Luck, but Dick Johnson, Vern Schubert, and a few other boys, this could be the end of a winning streak here at Sandown. It's going to be a very hard, tough race. In fact, it's going to be a classical race, I believe. It's going to be one of the hardest that we've had in the 10-year history of this race, or about 10 years. I'm looking forward to it.
So actually, the Vern Schubert car seems to be back a little bit. Is there a problem with it?
No, I don't think there really is. I think he might have just got a bad start. It's just taking him a while to get going, so I think he'll be all right.
Are you satisfied in the position he's in?
Yes.
Yeah. Brock is forcing very hard in second position at the moment. Has he got anything left in here?
No, he's trying. He's just looking after it. He'll be right. Give him time.
That's right.
Great shame. Brock looked as though he was locked up too and was in trouble.
I'd say he was locking up because he saw Dick starting to go round.
Yes, indeed, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, it's terrific to be back, and I'm doing it because it's a top drive. It's one of the top drives in Australia, and basically I love coming home. It's just a new challenge for me because it's something different. The cars are different to what I'm used to, and that's the extent of it, really.
How different are they?
Well, they're very different from, say, the single-seaters, the Indianapolis type cars, in as much that although they're less powerful, the cars are much heavier. They're about twice the weight of an Indy car with about half the horsepower. and I believe that the people that are doing this are really driving them very close to the limit, and that's not easy coming from a single-seater, which is very precise, has as much power as you need. You get into one of these cars, these boys are not going to be that easy to beat. I think I'm going to have quite a challenge.
Whilst Fern was speaking, I saw Charlie O'Brien on the side. Interesting.
This would be a scheduled stop, I'd say, wouldn't you, Leo?
Yes,
Leo, to get him out of the way before Peter needs to come in?
Yes, it would be, and I think they'll probably have a look at his tyres and see if they think they may have to change Peter's.
And John Harvey getting ready to get in the car. Out gets Schuppen. See what Leo meant about it being slow to change drivers. It does slow down the stop.
45 litres of fuel going in the rear in the meantime. And the man that was up in the commentary box with us here last year and was fairly frustrated in being here with Alan Moffat taking over the car, and was particularly unhappy to see the damage being done to the car, and now will be delighted to be in the seat, stroke it along in the way that this experienced driver can do. Second placed car up until this point, Steve Harrington in car 27 into the pits. So only the race leader among the major cars, and Grice, who will now move up to second in the BMW number 44. But let's hear from John Smales in the activity pit area.
John Harvey smokes out of the pits in 55 seconds. That was a slow stop for the dealer team. They usually do it in less than 30. But nonetheless, not a bad stop when you consider that all 4 tyres were changed on the motor car. Back up here with second place. It's young Steve Harrington, the Queensland driver, getting out of the motor car. Thank you, and we hope you stay up there in second.
Race leader, Peter Brock, 05, as he comes round on his completing his 63rd, starting his 64th, and with 56 to go into the pit area. A good lead, but over the Alan Grice BMW number 44, which is second. The Johnson Falcon now, incredibly, with 2 spins, is back up to 3rd place.
Brocky, how's it going? Rocky's trying to take a drink at the same time. He's on board drinking stop. He's getting some Staminate into him, some stuff to keep him fit. How's it going, Peter? The car feels
very good.
No problems at all.
No.
You must be happy to see Johnson back where he is.
Yeah, but he'll come back.
Peter Brock is stuck into it. He has been in the pits now for 35 seconds. They've dropped 2 tyres down so far. He's doing a full tyre change. So 3 out of 4 he's done. The fuel is already done. Johnson's gone past, and Brock smokes out of the pits. He takes 2 of his tyres as he goes. 2 of the tyres that were removed from the car, he runs over them. And
Harvey, the 2 Holden dealer team cars, 1st and 4th places.
This is a combination and a setup that the 2 drivers like. They get on very well together. Harvey was very disappointed not to have been in this race last year, to have been replaced in the car, albeit only for 1 race, by Alan Moffat. And he acknowledges the great driving flair of Peter Brock. Brock acknowledges the superb backup service that he gets from John Harvey.
He's going to get his backup in a minute, I think.
Yes, he might indeed. And it looked there as though they were going to go into team formation, but judge for yourself.
Yes, well, John Harvey saying, OK, well, you get by me where you can. Just because you're the boss doesn't mean to say I have to kiss your boots.
And Brock thinking, well, goodness me, I don't know what goes on in this team. Everything was well behaved until Moffat drove with us last year and he gave me hell. And now Harvey's doing the same. He's normally been so well behaved in the past, but Brock slots in underneath him in the Ripco corner. But will that be the end of the discussion?
Well, maybe they're going to tug each other up through the field, or at least tug John Harvey up a place maybe. He has Wigston ahead of him.
And as he said, and he's they love him today, and the bulk of the activity on race day there. Laps 100 euro. The winner of the Hang 10 400 for 1981.